We have some cyclogenesis occurring north of the Great Lakes. And so what we're more concerned about here is the trailing front. And the first game that we should probably talk about is the one that we expect there to be probably the heaviest impacts, and that is the Houston Texans visiting the Tennessee Titans. This game is interesting. We're expecting more impacts on the second half, kind of similar to what we saw in Pittsburgh last week. However, with this one, there is a chance, because we are along the front here, that there could be some convection. So one of the things that we're monitoring here is that convection going to translate to thunder and lightning? Because we know if that occurs, we experienced this in the KC game, the Kansas City game earlier this year, that there is a chance of delay. Right now, we are not anticipating that. What we are anticipating is rain rates to get a little bit heavier here for the second half, and then that's where we're going to get a bulk of that 0.2 inches of rain. And again, that may not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about 2 hours or so, that's quite a bit of rain. That's in that moderate to heavy kind of range. So we are going to be monitoring that one. That is where we're expecting the heaviest rain. And we'll talk about some player impacts, but I'm also going to talk about the Cleveland game. We have the Lions traveling to Cleveland. Now, we are expecting lighter rain. For this is kind of a different part of the storm where the rain is not as intense, but it is going to be more consistent. We're more anticipating intermittent, light to moderate rain for the Cleveland game. That we're expecting probably 2 to 3, if not for the entire game in Cleveland. In Buffalo, however, this is a very borderline. This is the same part of the system. However, we are not anticipating that Buffalo will get any rain until probably later in the second half. So we do expect rains actually to pick up a little bit in Buffalo, but it's probably not going to be for a significant portion of the game. So we don't expect a lot of player impacts with that.
And as Sean mentioned here, with the rain risks, there's another component with wind, and in this particular synoptic setup, you look at the wind forecast map here, where you see like the shading, blue, green, yellow, etc., that's showing higher amplitude winds. In these slate of games in the afternoon, there's just not a whole lot of wind that's in the forecast. So specifically the risks here for this particular week is more driven by rain and wet conditions.
Yeah, and if we look at that, Mike, if you go back to the synoptic map for the precipitation. That's a really good point. And I was kind of pointing out kind of some of the different rain rates, and we can see this on the map for those of you viewing on YouTube. Over Nashville, which it has currently an orange marker on it, although we are anticipating that to be more of an extreme event. But you're noticing the colors are becoming more in the purples, the oranges, the reds. Those are indicating heavier rain amounts, as opposed to Cleveland, which in Cleveland, Ohio here, that's a green, although we are anticipating that to turn to a more caution event. Those are more in the blues, greens, maybe some yellows. So that's kind of some of the lighter precipitation.
Yeah. And just to kind of like focus on this particular event with getting into those for the Tennessee game, right? Getting into the oranges, reds, and pinks, that's only going to be a second half event with this much rain. That's like a heavy downpour to get those amount of rain, like that total rainfall, like 0.2 or higher in a short period of time, an hour or two. Like that's some heavy rain. That's enough to kind of, be very visible on TV. You're going to hear the announcers talk about it when it moves in. This is all in the sense if the game doesn't get delayed from lightning, which is kind of, we don't think it's going to happen at this point, but there's always a slight risk that as you get this far south of the cold front and that type of forcing, there could be some lightning, but it's a low risk of this.
So